Hey guys, so today I'm going to take you guys on a garden tour. We're going to harvest. I'm going to show you some things I'm working on. I'm actually going to work on my harvest wall too. I've got a phone call in with one of the head guys over there. And that's the thing about Tower Garden and Harvest Wall. These are companies on a mission that have real people that care, and I get phone calls from them. If you guys accidentally forget to use my link when you order a Tower Garden, like they can track that back and they'll call me and be like, hey, just a heads up, do you know this person? Or have they said anything? And so they're always looking out for your best interest in mine, which is so awesome. It's nice because a lot of the things on the market are novelty and they're not about growing the maximum amount of food and really making and creating change in homes and change in communities. And these two companies are, so I really love them. So we're gonna get on a FaceTime so I can get some of my Harvest Wall stuff in, because we've been doing so much with the sheds, really affected like our home. And so I'm trying to, we've got the sheds on, we delivered shoe yesterday, and I'm gonna show you guys in the next video, the video in a couple of days. Got 3 people out of tents that are sleeping in a disaster zone in tents. Now they are still in the disaster zone, but they're safe in our tractor sheds. And so I was really happy about that. Our health is better, so that's amazing. We've been working on that. And we just kind of got things under control a little bit. It feels a little bit more manageable. We have a plan with the sheds, so I don't have to be there so often, and I don't have to be doing construction, which is awesome because I'm not good at construction. So I'm gonna try and get our lives back together and get our home back on track. So I'm gonna take you guys on a tour. We have some things we need to harvest. I've got to get those fruit trees in for my permaculture food forest, and so I'm gonna work on maybe 4 of those today. That's how I manage, and I've gotten that question, like how do you manage growing food and doing all these things? And I chip away at it. And so this was really dirty, and this is how I keep people from using a microwave. We have one on our front porch. I try to make it very painful to use. My daughter's filming this. Sorry, honey. So this is a wolf. It's also, my stove runs a little bit wonky. It runs like a wood burning stove. And so this is just easier for people to use if they want to heat something up. So I'm just trying to get little corners. Our vacuum's broken, our floors are a mess, but you know, if I can get this one project done before I go out and hit the garden, that's like one less thing to do, right? So let's go on a garden tour and let me show you the amazing abundance that we have the first week of November, which is incredible because most people's gardens are done for the year. And mine is pumping out like nothing's happened. So I'm really trying to step back and do a little more self-care. You guys kind of made that comment a bunch of times, take care of yourself. And I know it's because I look terrible in my videos because we feel terrible. And yeah. So this is something I've been knitting. And knitting is like my therapy. I like quiet, calm, gives me something to do with my hands, to be in prayer. I love to pray and knit, and I'm just not doing it. And the problem is I've got 2 projects. These are my fingerless gloves. Super cute. Need those. Although it's still warm here, which is weird. And then I'm knitting a really kind of oversized long sleeve cardigan. This is my friend's. She used to have a farm here, and this is her sheep wool. And I love it so much. And it's going to have deep pockets, so I can wear it almost like a house robe because it gets really cold here. And a lot of times what I'll do is wear something like this, and then I sleep in it too because it keeps me warm at night. And, you know, wool doesn't stink or get dirty or anything. You can't wash it, but it ages really well. So this one's going to have deep pockets, so I can like put eggs and food in it when I go out into the garden and keep my hands warm. But I'm at a complicated step where I like actually got to use my brain for this and for my fingerless gloves. Not hard stuff. I just need to use my brain, and I don't have a brain right now to use because it's tied up in other projects. So I'm hoping to have some time today to like learn that step I need to learn. Because once I learn the little step, it's really not that big of a deal. Then I'm back to knitting full time. And that is therapeutic for me. So I'm going to work on that today when I have a little downtime. Although the list seems to be getting long of things I'm committing myself to do today. Let's go outside. And an animal got on our porch because our screens are all destroyed. And yeah, like this is what life is looking like right now. This is not good because this causes stress, right? Go on. My dog's a mess. The house is a mess. I did get this side tidied up some, a little bit, but not really. Some of my jelly melons are rotting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just individually set them out. They need to ripen, but obviously when you stack things on top of each other and don't give them airflow, the ones that ripen first are going to go bad, which is what's happened. So those will go to the chickens. All right, I only lost 6. So that's not ideal, but not terrible. And I'm gonna put the kids on this project because really it's a lot of their shoes and garbage. And that's an easy fix. So I'm just going to chip away at this stuff, guys. We're going to get our lives in order. I'm actually planning a home tour for you guys by Thanksgiving. Really hoping I can get it done. Our log cabin is pretty fabulous, and I really want to show you guys it in its shining glory. All cozy for the fall. But, you know, first, people in tents. Second, rotten food off the porch, maybe. Baby steps. I also found a goat barn that can also be a chicken barn, so we can get this not so high functioning thing out of, they want out so bad. All right, so one chore done. Another thing I'm trying to do is just chip away at the things that, you know, get out of hand, like little bits of trash that get left behind in projects. So under here, I grow wine cap mushrooms, and I've been missing them at their peak. I haven't had a lot come up, but I've had a few, like onesie twosies. There's the remnants of one. And there's one right there. Now I could still eat this one, not that one. This one's still edible, but when they start to tip up like that, it's past their peak. So what I'm letting it do is just spread spores. So we have more inoculated through here. So at some point this week, I'm gonna add some wood chips to this area. I added some here and just build it up so we have a consistent harvest of wine caps. And so that's how you do it. If you put the wood chips and you inoculate it, then they're going to keep growing as long as they have a food source, which is the wood chips, because they're going to put off their spores. So that's how you make mushrooms a sustainable thing for your homestead. We also have our logs, and this weekend we have a lot of logs. I'm going to give a shout out to another company that's also just like super invested in their project and so supportive of my stuff. And that's in North Spore, and that's where I buy all my mushroom stuff. And I'll put a link below. And we've got all these logs in town because of the trees falling over. So I was talking to a friend. He said he had a bunch of logs, was cutting up. I was like, hey, let's inoculate this weekend. So that's what we're doing on Sunday. And I'm getting all the supplies. And North Spore, I just sent him a message and was like, hey, we got this last minute project. Can you hook me up and ship them quickly? And they're sending us all those supplies for free, which is amazing. Thank you, North Spore. And we're going to inoculate logs. So I'll share that video on how to do that. Logs will last you a few years. Usually they take a couple of years to bloom, depending on the size. And then they're going to bloom for a few years. It gives us another food source and just creates a little bit more food security. Gets us out of the grocery store. Love shiitakes. We're only going to do shiitakes because honestly, it's the only thing I've had success with when it comes to logs. Not that other things won't grow. I'm just like keeping it simple. That's what we're doing today. It may look complicated and messy, but I'm always about simple, sustainable systems. And if a mushroom's real hard to grow on a log, I'm just not going to waste my time with it. I can grow them inside for those. Oh my gosh, guys. This. So this is where I grow food and where I need to grow food. And we've got distribution stuff over here. And I mentioned in my last video, people are taking that stuff and reselling it on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm keeping a few things we're gonna need in the garage. But I restocked our year's supply of toilet paper, and obviously that didn't get put away properly. Just a lot of things have come in that are restocks for our prepper pantry. I'm going to do a prepper pantry tour in a couple of weeks and show you guys some stuff, but it's just gotten out of control. And it's okay. We're getting people out of tents, and that's priority, but we have got to get some of this under control because it is affecting our health and how we function. But look at the towers. Let's take a tour. All right, let's take a tour and get started. One thing with this tower, and I like to point out the problems so that if you're growing this way, it helps you if you have problems. So I shared that I couldn't get these, I was having a hard time getting these back to green after the hurricane with nutrients. So down at the bottom, I just can't get it. And it's because there's too much stuff in here. This is a home tower with a 13-gallon tank. I need to harvest a lot of food off of here and take some pressure off so I can get those healthy. Because I want to eat them when they look like this, right? When they look like this. Super healthy and full of nutrition. And that's not going to happen until I take some pressure off this. Because I don't know if you guys can see, but that is a massive amount of food for a home tower. It's a lot. So we're going to start that today. Some things we can definitely take off that I actually want to eat. Well, we got some arugula in here. We have so much beautiful food. These bok choys. I'm going to make a chicken. Any leaves that aren't beautiful will come off, which takes pressure off. And I can give those to the chickens. So let's just make a little pile here. All right, so we're just going to start taking some pressure off this tower. Gigantic turnip. I'm going to juice the greens. Compost back any greens. That's why I like to have my tower here in my permaculture, or close. I keep everything close so I can just be composting back. These greens look like they have a little powdery mildew, so I'm not going to eat those. And, ideally you want to take plants out and put things back in really quickly. I don't have a lot of starts to do that with right now, and I'm probably going to harvest everything off this tower over the next couple of weeks, or move some of the things I want to keep for the winter to another clean tower. So I'm not going to do that. I call them turnover towers. I have towers that I can clean and then take things out of here, put them in a clean tower, the things I want to keep as I harvest off of this. So that's the phase we're in. All of this rock wool, usually give it to my chickens as grit, or we compost it back. All right, cauliflower, super excited. That's that baby cauliflower. So it doesn't get so gigantic, the leaves. But actually, look at the head. That's big. Here's another one I didn't even know I had because it's buried in collards. And I think I'm going to pull some of the collards. Some of these leaves have gone bad. Right? All right, if you pull something out like this, you want to make sure you get all the roots. If you can't get all the roots, it starts to cause problems where you're going to have to take your tank apart to clean it. I have left roots in there for, a couple of weeks if I had to finish off a tower, and you can do that. But if you can get the roots off, that's ideal. Even these broken net pots, though, I'll reuse them. So I toss the parts that I can't get off into my chicken coop. So this will go to the chickens and they'll eat around it, and then I collect these out of my chicken coop. Look at this beauty. Even though I'm overwhelmed, this kind of work helps. It helps a lot. The harvest is amazing. Just reminds me why we do this, so that when it gets overwhelming, the abundance makes up for it. So I'm just gonna show you guys a tour. I can't wait to show you guys the before of this. So before the hurricane, I filmed a video putting this together and planting it out. And I don't even remember how many weeks it is, but when we go to harvest this in the next week, you're just gonna see the massive abundance of food that you can grow in 3 square feet. Like, this is all you need, 3 square feet to grow this much food. Incredible. This tower's done. I already took everything I wanted to keep off of it, so it's just cleaning it up, and that can wait. That tower's done. I'm gonna pressure wash it, get it ready for the fall. This one's going strong. These are kohlrabi. This is a cone cabbage, and they're starting to take shape. I love these leaves. They're so incredible. Got quite a few of those. Got a lot of parsley. I'm gonna be making tabbouleh probably today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Today seems full. This is dill. It's going to flower. So what I am gonna do is pop this off, see if I can't slow it down a little bit and get a little more life out of that. We've got lettuce up here. These are going to flower too. We do need to harvest these. These are wanting to bolt. See that weird shape at the top? And we got some brown leaves. Still lots of good stuff in there, but these need to come out. When it starts making a cone like that, that is saying it's trying to go to flower. Look at that beautiful butter crunch. Parsley, parsley, parsley. Green beans are going strong. I will come back out here and pull these today because I like tender green beans, and if they get too big, a couple of things happen. It slows production and they just get tougher. I like to eat them raw when they're small. See, these are, you definitely have to cook ones like this because they're getting too big. So I won't make you guys sit here and watch me harvest green beans, but we are still getting green beans. I would say 3 handfuls a week right now. This is my pepper tower. It's also got herbs and aloe. The nutrients are way off. I realized what happened. When I don't have time to put nutrients in, but they need water, I'll leave this lid off. So it reminds me to come put nutrients in. And I had the lid off, but I fed all my towers. And I didn't put the lid back on this one. And I just thought I fed it because I fed everything, but I overlooked this one. So I'm gonna give these nutrients, they'll be fine in a couple of days. And I'm gonna harvest all the peppers that are ready because we got tons, so many peppers on here that are ready to go. That'll take some pressure off too. I'll have to come up with something to do with a bunch of peppers. This is the other side of that tower. So we've got chajimusai. I made a beautiful salad for my volunteers, and we ate off of that for a couple of days actually. With that, these are kohlrabi. I couldn't tell if they were kohlrabi or cauliflower. And I think they're kohlrabi because they're starting to take shape. Some of them might be cauliflower. But this tower's beautiful. It's so lovely. This is all my peas. These I've been harvesting every day. So a bush pea, you're gonna get a decent amount. You know, I get maybe 2 to 3 handfuls a week right now of peas. In the spring, I will do this on a trellis, and I'll do an entire half of a tower. So I'll need less space than I've used here, and I will grow the vining versions, and you'll get, 5 times the amount. But I'm not disappointed with these. Sometimes if you let them sit too long, this is Patio Pride, they get a little bit fibrous and not edible raw. And so you got to kind of time it right. But if that happens, I just cook them. And actually, I've really been enjoying this variety sauteed, and then I use a little sesame seed oil and some sesame seeds, raw sesame seeds after they're finished, and a little amino acids, and it makes a great lightly sauteed pea salad. We've got all this parsley. Again, this is kind of a repeat: kale, parsley, kohlrabies. There's some basil in here, which is hanging in because it's so warm. So I don't have to do anything here. And it's just really going strong. Look at these chives. These might be green onions, actually. Those are amazing. I'll put those in a salad I make with the parsley this week. All right, that's it for my tower chores for the day. I'm gonna feed that pepper tower and then call it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 trees in. I'm about to put 2 down there in because they keep falling over. I actually think I'll just do 1, 2 of those 4 before I go inside. That'll only take me about 30 minutes. And that will make sure they're secure. Never let them die because you get too busy. I've done it, sadly. So want to make that a priority. Now we've got plenty of food. I actually have plenty of food I've been harvesting over the last few days. 2, we've got a plan to juice, and let's go get this harvest wall set up. So those will be my last 2 chores. Those 4 trees and this harvest wall set up. I actually have a lot of lion's mane to harvest too. So that's cool. So this is exciting. I haven't had a lot of luck with my mushrooms lately. The mushrooms are definitely harder than tower gardening. They just require having eyes on things daily. And I'll make more detailed content on that at some point when life isn't life and so much. But you really got to have eyes on them daily so you can catch problems quickly and manage things. So with the colder temperatures, I haven't been shutting the garage in here. I just have not cared. So to get this many, lion's mane is such a blessing because they haven't been doing super great. Normally I get this much off of 1 block. This is from 3 blocks. That doesn't mean they're garbage. I'm gonna salvage this and get it cleaned up, and we're gonna have an amazing harvest off of what I already have. I just need to dive in and give these more attention. But beautiful. And again, my link to Northspore with the discount code is below. Lion's mane is a superfood for brain function. So good. I'm gonna make crab cakes. Crab cakes. And here's what I mean about salvaging. So these got some mold on them, and it's okay. I can fix it. Right now I dry them out first, and then I'll scrape off the bad parts, and we'll reset it, and then we'll put them back in once I know I'm gonna give them the attention they need. I'm gonna set this here. I'm letting these absorb sun because that's how they absorb vitamin D. And you're supposed to do them gills up, ideally. These, I don't really have gills. So we're just gonna let them absorb UV rays. And they turn that into vitamin D, which we need this time of year. All right, let's get this harvest wall set up. And I will say, I know for some of you, this amount of food and all these systems might feel overwhelming. Start small. Start with 1 tower. Get good at it. I like to easy plus 1 it. When 1 tower is easy, I knew when I outgrew 1 tower. Well, I started with 3 and then 4 quickly. But I knew when I outgrew that because I wanted more food. And I felt like I could manage more. And so that's how you build, easy plus 1. But even though we're overwhelmed right now, this is totally manageable. I'm chipping away. In 1 hour, I'm getting a lot handled. And the things I'm handling are food security. This keeps us out of the grocery store. So it's incredible, and it's a worthy hour of my time that, could be wasted on social media scrolling, right? Turn off the social media. We got to stop being consumers and start being creators of things. We just have to. That's the only chance we have with all the changes that are coming in our world is to stop being consumers and start really paying attention to the things we spend our money on and making sure that everything we spend our money on is creating something or is made to last. All right, I'm gonna take this call. It's Jeffrey from Harvest Wall, and he's gonna help me because Harvest Wall is amazing and they do that. Okay, I just got off the phone with Jeffrey. Again, anything I rep, thank you for using my links. It helps support the channel so we can make content. And I'm repping things that I truly, like I get offered so much stuff as a content creator. And you don't see me share any of it because I don't take it. First off, I hate stuff. You guys know I don't like stuff. And the stuff that's flooding into this area, it's overwhelming me. But the things I do use are super critical for security, food security, and keeping you safe from what's happening to the food in the grocery stores. So if I'm sharing something, I 100% back it. I have some things in this garage that you don't see and I don't use because I just don't, and it's not that their companies aren't great, it just, they don't work to grow an enormous amount of food and keep the costs down. They don't have the same company missions of amazing people backing these things, like where their hearts are truly in it. When you can call the CEO of the company and be like, hey, help me out, and they answer, that's amazing. Like that's super amazing for me. And of course, they're not going to answer the phone for every customer, so I don't mean it that way. But as a content creator, they're helping support because our goal together is to bring education and to make it super easy for you guys. And I will tell you what, it took me 5 minutes on the phone with him. I had just forgotten a couple of the steps because I haven't touched this thing since we went through it the first time. And I was like, boom, 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 and here we are. Growing food. You can also germinate in this, which is really sweet because I didn't have enough space to do all the starts I needed to do. I'm working on building out my Amazon storefront for you guys so that if you purchased a Harvest Wall, you can purchase what I've kitted out to do starts in as an easy, like I like to keep everything super small and manageable. So I'm building out just a simple shelving system that has some grow lights so I can be starting next to my Harvest Wall. But you can also germinate right in it. You cannot do that very well with the tower garden, but you can with this system. So there are some perks to growing in a soil medium, which is what we do in our Harvest Wall, versus with aeroponics. And there's perks to growing with aeroponics, like I can grow pumpkins and huge vining things that I can't necessarily do with this. So the two together, so perfect. All right, so these lights are on wheels, so you can just unlock them. Let me unlock this side. And I like to keep the backs unlocked all the time and just lock the front to make it easy to like open it like a door. Got a lot more to put in here. But isn't that just gorgeous? I can't, with the green and the black and the white. Something else. Done. All right, I've decided I'm gonna put these trees in tonight. And I'm just gonna try and get everything in. But here's the thing about plants. Whether you're growing on a Harvest Wall or a permaculture food forest or a tower garden. Well, for one, if you're growing, if you buy a bunch of plants like this and you don't have time to put them in the ground, you definitely wanna put a little water on them if it's hot because the black attracts the sun and it really puts a lot of pressure on the root systems. These are very hot to the touch because apparently we don't live in the mountains anymore. And there's no such thing as fall, apparently. But, so I'm just giving them water. But with plants, like give them a little love. Don't over love a plant. A plant is a wild living thing. I always say, like if you are fussing with your tower gardens to death, you will literally fuss them to death. And I see that often, like people just mess with things and mess with things and mess with things, and that's when they fail. There's a fine line between Give them what they need. Make sure they know they're being taken care of and that they're safe, which may sound silly, but I'm letting these plants know this is a great home and this is where they are gonna thrive by giving them water and giving them what they need. But I'm not gonna over fuss. And with my towers, I get them set up and I don't over fuss. The harvest wall, it's set up. That's all I gotta do. Give them a little attention, not too much. Everything will be fine. All right, we got a lot done. We didn't get everything done. I did get some of that toilet paper put away, which helps. And this is how we homestead in a time when there's not a lot of time. This is how you can do it if you also work and leave your home. Like, just designate an hour and a half and look at the amount of food we're securing in an hour and a half. A food forest, a harvest wall, tower gardens. We got vitamin D from being outside. We got fresh air. We got stress relief from leaning into chores that are worthy and not consuming and just being consumed by content and scrolling and stuck in the house. Like, this gets us outside doing healthy things. And we also got some mushrooms, so we can eat some vitamin D too. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you on the next video.